News out of Frankfurt. House Democrats have extensive plans making housing in the Commonwealth more affordable. They say an amendment added to House Bill 603 will benefit renters, homeowners, and builders.
The proposal will cost millions of dollars in upfront investment, but they hope that it will translate into $1 billion in development. WKYT's Alyssa Williams and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw have the details.
The goal is to match infrastructure dollars with housing developments, so we are spending infrastructure dollars in a way that will drive down the cost of building new homes.
That's the goal from House Dems and Minority Whip Joshua Watkins, and they hope the General Assembly will fund the following plans. For builders, $123 million in investment in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, helping increase inventory with hopes it generates $1 billion in housing development.
This would mean more homes being built in Kentucky.
A $1 million revolving loan fund to support new homes and apartments.
It allows us to reuse those same dollars for housing year after year after year.
On the residential side, up to $1,000 in renter tax credit and a first-generation homebuyer trust fund proposal, up to $5,000 in forgivable assistance for down payments, closing costs, mortgage insurance, or interest rate buydowns.
If you are a first-time home buyer and you need just a little bit more money to get you across the finish line, that $5,000 program is going to come in handy when you sit at the closing table.
All this in hopes to increase competition in the housing market and lower costs. Watkins, who's a realtor, says there's a concern people who are in their 20s don't desire to be a homeowner.
It's a nightmare for them, not because they don't want it, but because it doesn't exist. And hope deferred makes the heart grow weary. And if you can't find it and you're looking and you're searching, you wake up every day and you stop trying. And if people stop trying to find places to live in Kentucky, that means they go to find places elsewhere.
In a statement from Republican House Speaker David Osborne, he says affordable housing is a complex issue and that simply allocating more money will not solve underlying challenges. In Frankfurt, with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
So where does this legislation go next? House Bill 603 was filed February 9th by Representative Pam Stevenson and then assigned to the House Appropriations and Revenue Committee February 17th. The amendment was just filed yesterday, but House Bill 603 has not moved since it was assigned to the committee. That committee has not yet heard the bill. The legislative session will end 4 weeks from today. In that time, it faces an uphill battle to become law.